Welcome to another episode of Morning Mojo with me, your host, Shane Solomon. Today, I am joined on the sofa with John. Now, John, I'm going to get straight in the content today, and we're talking about something I like doing. I don't do it all the time. Obviously, I'm going through a fat stage at the moment, and I'm almost ready to get back into it. And that is intermittent fasting.
Yes.
And the best way to do it.
Okay. So I'll actually ask you a question. In fact, you to start this off.
Oh, God.
How do you do it?
How do I do it? So what I do is I have an eating window of 12 midday until 6 p.m.
Okay.
That's my normal. And then sometimes I might do 1 p.m. till 6 p.m.
Okay, yeah.
That's it. And then in that time, I pretty much have whatever I want.
Okay.
Right? So that 1 o'clock time slot comes around and it could be a Cornish pasty.
Right, okay.
Medium, not
Right.
large. Steak. Right? So I'm still having that bad pastry.
Okay.
Because I'm the most plain fussy eater you ever
Yeah.
find. And then the reality is, once I've had that, I'm not really hungry at 5, 6 o'clock. And but I must have something in this window.
Okay.
So then I might just, have a toasty sandwich or something like that.
Okay.
And that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Okay. So the way that you can do fasting more efficiently is, first of all, does it work for your lifestyle? The way you do it?
Sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't.
Okay. So that's the number one thing that with everything you try, when you're trying to lose weight or when you're trying to get stronger, is does the program work for your lifestyle? Because too many coaches out there, and it's the fitness industry in general, let's just take an exercise program, nutrition program, let's just give it to you, and off you go. And they say, right, so from an example of fasting, just don't eat between these times. No one's really considered the fact that there's actually times when we're not consciously aware that we don't need to eat.
Absolutely.
So, for example, when I do fasting, I try and actually put most of my fasting time whilst I sleep.
Well, this is it. Yeah, of course. And that's why I was trying to finish by about 6-ish.
Yeah.
Because then, I try and get an early-ish night, 10 o'clock. So, yeah. And yeah, you're asleep, so you're not thinking about it, right?
So that's where you've got to think about the meals before and after the fast. So if you're trying to lose weight, the biggest challenge anyone will have is insulin. So it's a hormone, and think of it like your fat stores are in a vault. Insulin is a guard. If you've got one guard, you could pretty much take the guard, get to the vault, and the fat could be utilized. But if you overstimulate insulin and you've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guards, what are your chances of getting to that vault and allowing the fat to be used?
Unlikely.
That is the big challenge. And then it comes down to what you're eating beforehand. So, for example, processed foods, refined carbohydrates are probably the biggest challenges before and after a fast. Because you're obviously, with a fast, you're obviously bringing your insulin levels down. But then either side of that, if you're overstimulating it, are you then going to get the benefit of a fast when you actually do it?
Okay. All right. Okay. Makes sense. Let's talk about the fitting around the lifestyle. Now, I have a lifestyle of being invited to a lot of evening dinners, drinks, receptions, things like that. And as a true Cornishman, I do like a beer. I do like to have a couple of bevies.
Yes.
So for me, it's like, and then sometimes if I'm doing this 1 till 6 kind of regime, then I get invited to a dinner that's 8 o'clock in the evening.
Yes.
Now I've broken it, because I can't be seen not eating things where everyone else is eating and drinking.
Yeah.
So I know someone else, another good friend of mine that does it, but she does it where her window is pretty much like from 5 o'clock in the evening till like 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because she's like me, she's always at events and things like that.
Yeah.
So would that work? Do you think, is that a good
ultimately it comes down to the way you live your lifestyle. So I'll give you an example for myself. If I want to fast, I will have my last meal at around 3, 4 o'clock.
Sure.
Which means then I've got about 6, 7 hours before I go to sleep. I then go to sleep. I then go and train in the morning in a fasted state, which means by the time I've come back from a gym, I've already done 16 hours. But the key thing was that last meal. So I actually have a higher fat, higher protein meal because fat will give you a little bit more energy.
Mm-hmm.
So it means I'd be able to last the rest of the evening, not feeling I want to actually eat, because another big factor in trying to lose body fat is your appetite's got to be suppressed and it's got to be satisfied.
Indeed.
So if it's not, you're going to be like, oh, do you know what, crunch pasty. Oh, you see it? I want it.
Yeah.
So the way I do it is obviously have a higher fat, higher protein meal. Then I obviously will make sure that I'm hydrated, because that's another key thing. I don't know if you've ever tried fasting and you've felt like nauseated at times or headaches.
No, not too bad. Maybe in the very start when I first
Yeah.
started doing it, maybe,
So-
and just a bit dizzy and things like that,
Yeah.
and just that hunger feeling.
In a way, that's actually a good sign. It's how you deal with that. So it's obviously so your body is adapting to fasting, but then it's how do you make sure that you don't sort of nosedive from that. And hydration is one thing, because as you fast, you lose a lot of water and you lose electrolytes.
Okay.
So the best way to overcome that is make sure you're hydrated all the time and you have electrolytes.
What's electrolytes?
So things like sodium, potassium, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So the easiest way to do it is a salt tab. 1 gram of salt in water, and that will keep you going.
Okay.
That's the thing that I found really works. And then it's a case of keeping yourself occupied, because the brain just goes, I haven't eaten in 4 or 5 hours. I'm dying here because where's my next going to get fed? It goes into the jungle mentality of, I don't know where my next meal is coming from. So that's where your brain goes, oh, I see that. I love that.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
And then your brain releases a little bit of dopamine. Go, well done. You give me what I wanted.
Sure. So what can people do then? They're watching this podcast, they're listening to this podcast, and they're thinking this intermittent fasting thing is a thing. They're reading about it on socials at the minute. Do they start small? Can you start small with a fasting thing? Or
I've always advised my clients to actually start with a 10 to 12 hour window. And again, try and do it where the majority of the time they are fasting is when they're asleep. It just means that.
So none of those suppers and late night snacks,
No.
all that. Yeah.
Because what's the other thing that's going to be compromised if you start eating later is going to be your sleep. And that's going to make you feel rubbish, really. When you wake up the next morning, you're going to go, oh, I just want some carbs. I just want some caffeine just to keep me going. And then you've actually kind of sabotaged a little bit the progress you were trying to make. And then you feel like you've actually failed.
Sure.
Whereas it's a case of start small, gradually expand, and it'll become a lot easier. So when I first started it, I struggled at 12 hours. Really struggled.
Sure.
But that's because I didn't have the right strategy. It wasn't right for my lifestyle. Once I got that in place, I was like, okay, I can now do it. And then suddenly 12 became 14, 14 became 16. And then 16, once I got to that point, I could go 24 hours.
Sure. Do you know what? I met someone over the weekend who said they've lost a lot of weight, and 3 stone they've lost. And I said, wow, you look fantastic, blah, blah, blah. What have you done? And she said, well, do you know what? I do slim fast twice a day and then a meal. And then I fast for 40 hours a week. 40 hours.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa. I've almost done, I think 23 is my most, almost 24.
Yeah.
But I think you're right in what you say. Once you do it a bit and you start getting used to it, it's conditioning, right? You start getting used to it.
And then the key thing after a fast is what you actually have to eat.
Yes. So it's no good having a chicken curry, egg fried rice, and salt and pepper chips from the
So
Chinese then.
the best way, a very small meal. It might even be like a small snack, but it's what's in it, which is actually more important, because obviously you're trying to suppress insulin to access your fat. But
So what's a good thing to eat then? Let's pick something up.
Greek yogurt,
Okay.
for example.
Ask me out then.
A small bit of cheese.
Ask me out again. I'll keep going.
Maybe some deli meats.
No.
Just something very small. Are you vegetarian, by the way?
No, God, no. I'm like a chicken, steak, and gammon man.
Okay, so you like chicken.
I love chicken.
All right, chicken salad.
Well, just the chicken. Forget the salad.
Or chicken. Yeah, that'll be fine.
I'll give the salad to my tortoise.
But chicken would be fine, because what is chicken? Essentially, protein. And a bit of fat. For the most part. So
just chicken on its own.
It's the carbs which stimulates the insulin most.
What I'd really like is chickens and pasta, but I can't have that, can I? It's wrong. It's the wrong carbs, isn't it?
Yeah, wrong type of carbs. Yeah.
What can I have with it then? Chicken and
Or what do you like?
Chips.
Tell me what you like, and then I'll be able to.
I like potato, but that's bad as well. It's another bad carb,
Yeah.
right? I just like all the bad things, John. Mushy peas?
Yeah, veg,
Yes.
chicken and veg, be fine.
Okay, so yeah, all right then. Some chicken, some peas, sweet corn,
Yeah,
and green beans.
because the carb content in the vegetables is very low.
Okay,
It's still carbs, but it's a very low amount, so it won't stimulate the insulin.
okay.
As
Well, that's the first meal after you finish the fast, and now
Yes.
we can start thinking about what we're going to have for tea.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and that's different. And the idea is like to go through a window where your body suppresses that insulin, and if you can have that first meal after the fast, and you're still suppressing that insulin, well, you're able to access the fat more. So if you go out for a walk, you don't have to go out to the gym 3-4 times a week and smash it out. It's just about go for a walk, just get moving.
Make a difference. Yeah.
Your body will start. Okay, do you know what? We've got some stored fat here, which we can now access and start utilizing.
Yeah.
But pump it full of carbs, and it's almost like, no, can't do it now.
No, I mean it all rings true. I know it works. I've done it. I do it in and out. I should adapt it as really as a lifestyle instead of just doing all these different changes. But it's a fascinating subject. I've just said that I'm a very plain eater. I don't like many things. Very limited vegetables. Very limited fruit. So what kind of supplements and things are out there? Do you recommend supplements? I mean, obviously it's better to get them from the natural thing, but
yes.
what ones are out there in the market that we should be taking or be aware of?
So the first thing I would always say about supplements is make sure you know where you're getting them from.
Sure.
So
Or make it on the market.
So I always recommend you get them from Informed Sport because they've been tested to say actually there's the amount of whatever's in it is true, and that there's no harmful products that are in there which obviously cause health risks. Anything which is off that website, because what they do with Informed Sport is they test it, you can then buy it off Amazon. So you don't have to go directly to the manufacturer and buy them in most cases.
Sure.
And also you can buy them in any region of the world pretty much. So that's the first thing I always say. Vitamin D, I think, because we, in the UK, we don't get as much sunlight as we should.
I know, as we're filming
Or
this
we
right
wish
now,
we
it's
could, should, or could,
absolutely
love
pissing
to.
it down with rain.
Yeah, exactly. So we probably could do with that. I think a multivitamin wouldn't do anyone any harm on the basis that you're just topping up, what you're getting from your food.
Sure.
That can also help through fasting as well, because obviously you lose a few vitamins, or you're going to need it just to help with the body as you go through the day.
Can you take supplements, vitamins when you're fasting?
I have.
Right. Okay.
If it says recommended with food, obviously take it with food as they recommended. Probably omega-3.
Yes, I hear that a lot.
Omega-3, definitely. Because I'm not someone who eats a lot of fish.
I'm not. I can't stand fish unless it's covered in batter from Rex's chip shop in Bugle. Just a little plug there. And it's cod, Yeah. That's it. Covered in batter. I'm done then.
But there's so many benefits to having that. So it's
What, if you cod covered in batter?
No, not the cod covered in batter. No, just like the omega-3, because
Yeah.
it just helps with the brain development, etc.
Yeah.
And just helps with just normal function of the body. And there's just so much, that we are missing out on by not having it.
I'm survived. I've survived this long in life at 42 years, eating purely much meat and potato and some mushy peas. It's amazing, really.
Yeah.
With your help, I could be the best.
You could be.
What processed snacks are out there that are really bad, but didn't even realize? Is there any of that's in your kind of top 3
Processed snacks?
Processed snacks and things.
Crisps.
Crisps, yeah. See it, and nation absolutely loves their crisps, right?
You think the way they're cooked, the carb content, all those, and chocolate.
Oh,
But when it comes to having a good relationship with food, and I think occasionally it's okay to have it.
sure,
It's not one of
that's
those
my next
things.
question.
It's not a case of no, don't have it
because
it's really unrealistic to be perfect on a diet.
Indeed.
I would say around an 80-20 rule is a good range. So that takes into account, for example, if you're out in the evening, that 20% of the time you're out in the evening and you have to have something to eat because you kind of expect it, or you just feel like you want to, or you want to have a beer, have it in that time.
My problem normally is if I do, because I'm so fussy, I don't tend to eat anything really, to be honest. It'll come out. They have the canapes and things like that. I'll leave that. It's got cheese on it or whatever. And I'll just have the beer instead. So that's not good because you're now packing in like 250 calories a pint or whatever that is.
Yeah. Whereas actually the cheese would have been a lot better for you.
Exactly, right? Exactly. Do you have any favorite quotes, John?
Yes. So the one that I like most, it came from Les Brown. Have you heard of Les Brown?
I have.
Yes.
Fantastic.
I love listening to him.
Speaker,
Motivational people. Is that if you can look up, you can get up. So life will always kick you down. You'll always get on the canvas, so to speak. But if you are facing down on the ground, there's no way you're going to get up because you've given up.
Yeah.
Whereas if you can look up, you can get up. It might take a little bit of effort. But once you are up and moving, you can get back to where you were.
Yeah. No, I like that.
Fail fast was another quote.
Yeah. Because we're all going to do that. We do.
Exactly.
I've done it so many times.
And so I use that with my clients a lot because I say to them, look, you're not going to be perfect on your diet. Don't try to be. You're going to make mistakes. Learn from them. Fail fast. Learn from that mistake. Figure out what you could have done or should have done. And then go and action that. Rather than failing through fault.
Sure.
Where you go, oh, I should do this. I should do that. A week goes by. A month goes by. A year goes by. 2 years go by.
Yeah.
And you haven't done anything about it. And suddenly you're worse off than where you were.
Yeah, sure. And how do you stay motivated?
For me, it's about how do I become the best person that I can be? For me, how can I be the best partner? And in a few weeks' time, how can I be the best parent?
Oh, wow. Congratulations
Thank
for
you.
that.
So in 5 weeks' time,
yes,
I'm going to learn the joys of being a parent.
Wow.
But it's about how do I do everything that I need to do to be the best version of myself. It's not about, do I have to have the biggest muscles? Not important. Doesn't matter how much I lift in the gym. It's about what the gym gives me, what my development, my personal development gives me to enable me to be the better person, the better parent, the better partner.
Interesting. And you mentioned on personal development there, and you mentioned Les Brown, everyone who is a fantastic teacher. Yeah. Is there anyone else out there next to Les Brown that you like?
I've got a whole table.
Okay, well, just give me some names.
So Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yes, I love Gary.
Yes. So the way I manage, see this table here.
Yes.
Imagine like I'd have myself at the head of the table, and on my table I have Gary Vaynerchuk. Yes. I have Les Brown.
Yes.
Tony Robbins.
Yes.
Jim Rohn.
I love Jim Rohn.
Yes.
I was hoping you was going to say that.
Maybe a little bit controversial, but Jordan Peterson.
Okay, I don't know that one. That's the first name you've given me. I don't know.
And then I have my business mentor, Callum, because he's helped me, but it's just the way he's been able to help me help my clients.
Sure.
So, and then I also have what I call the Oracle. So I've sort of the person in mind is one of my clients. Because she's experienced in life, shall we say?
Sure.
And she's always been one of those people that goes, yeah, but you should do this. And, just that from that feminine energy perspective, because obviously I work with a lot of female clients. So I imagine that if I ever have a problem, I go into my head, see the table. What does this response require? Does it require some kind candor, i.e. Gary Vaynerchuk style? Does it need some very direct conversation? Maybe, it's Jordan Peterson. Does it need a bit of an intervention? I don't think I mentioned Tony Robbins. Yeah. So Tony Robbins is on my table.
Yeah, you did say.
Yeah. Does it need a bit more of a spiritual kind of response? So, for example, I didn't mention Bob Proctor.
Oh, Bob Proctor. I was gutted when he passed away.
I know.
Jim Rohn had passed away long before I discovered personal development, but Bob Proctor, I watched so much of his stuff.
So, like, those kind of people have really shaped who I am as a person, but also I've taken the lessons out of their teachings and I've made them part of me. And therefore, when a client comes to me with a problem, I'm like, okay, this feels like I need to be this type of person. This superhero question, or the answer to that question is my superhero. One of them has got the answer.
Yes.
and then I can go and deliver the answer.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Well, listen, John, I could speak to you for ages, especially now we just touched on some of these names.
Yeah.
One of the biggest and the simplest things that I ever picked up from Jim Rohn was that for things to change, we have to change.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just that simple.
Yes.
And and it starts with you, sort of thing. And I think there's so much information out there, and Jim Rohn obviously passed away now for a long time actually, but the teachings are still relevant and very true.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's been an absolute delight to have you here. Hopefully you've enjoyed the experience.
I have.
And what's the best way for people to connect with you? Are you a LinkedIn person? You're a
Yeah,
website
so
person?
I'm on LinkedIn and I'm on Instagram, and you can probably find me on Google now. You should be able to find me on Google.
Okay, and what are they searching for?
J Bryant Coaching.
Okay.
Or on LinkedIn, John Bryant.
Okay. Well, John, it's been an absolute pleasure to meet you. I know that we're going to stay connected for sure. I like your energy, and definitely want to keep in touch. And hopefully we can do something in the future. I've got a lot of work to do. As always, I'd like to say a massive thank you to our podcast sponsor for this episode, and that is the Griffin Inn in Newquay. If you're looking for some wonderful, nutritious food, the Griffin Inn in Newquay are absolutely top of your list. They're fantastic over there. Steve and the team will take good care of you. I also like to say thank you to the producers of the show, Megan and Jay. As always, thank you very much for all your efforts. I do appreciate every episode. But from myself and from John, we'll bid you farewell. The most amazing remainder of your day, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you, John.
Thank you.